Thanks, Vera. Now, the education sector is teetering on a delicate balance, navigating one crisis only to slip into another, even with an allocation of 702 billion shillings in the next financial year. While 5.9 billion shillings has been set aside for national examinations and invigilation, this relief comes at a steep cost. Major budget cuts across primary, junior secondary and secondary education. As allocations shrink and capitation concerns deepen, pressing questions emerge. Will an already burdened parent be forced to shoulder the weight of a strained education system?
The education sector may be emerging from one crisis only to face another. 5.9 billion shillings has been allocated for exams and invigilation. However, this funding comes at a cost. 900 million shillings has been cut from primary school, 2 billion shillings from junior secondary, and 3 billion shillings from secondary education. The government is, however, considering alternative ways to fund examinations, including cost-sharing approach and a merit-based funding model to ease the financial burden on the education sector.
And that examinations must be conducted as they scheduled later this year. There is need to undertake a critical evaluation of the costing of examination, assess the sustainability of the program in view of the prevailing fiscal constraints, and explore optimal options for delivering national examinations in order to ensure economy and value for money in public spending.
Concerns are now mounting over the state of capitation as stakeholders urge the government to increase funding to schools. The allocation has remained unchanged for too long and has even seen reduction, particularly affecting secondary schools.
If that session on paper is passed by our lawmakers, and then I think if it becomes a law, we will be able, the government will be in a position to increase that amount from 14,000. If not, at least we're expecting it to be increased to a maximum of 100%.
On the other hand, the committee has recommended an additional 7.3 billion to facilitate the conversion of 20,000 intern teachers to permanent and pensionable terms, along with 17 billion shillings for university scholarship and loans, which were initially excluded from the budget estimates. The government has allocated 702 billion shillings to the education sector, with notable increases in key areas: 143.3 billion shillings for higher education, 387 billion shillings for Teacher Service Commission, and 43 billion shillings for TVETs. However, basic education saw a sharp 11 billion shillings drop to 127 billion shillings from last year's allocations.
I have proposed a total allocation of 702.7 billion to the education sector, which is almost 28% of our entire budget.
Questions now arise on who will carry the burden of capitation. Is it parents? Anne Musungu, KTN, Nairobi.
Well, key questions raised by Anne Musungu right there, bearing in mind, I think the education sector got roughly 28%.